Greetings and salutations. This is Fragments of Memory, aka the Armchair Philosopher. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and we always get into the subject of black people, things we're doing, things we're not doing. And the one thing that I noticed was anytime I bring up something that might be critical of what we as black people do, I'm often met with by my friend, I love my people. I'm not going to speak against my people. And the one thing I began to think about was, is speaking out against people meaning that you hate them? Like if I say I disagree with something that you're doing, does it mean that I'm saying I hate you or that I'm against you or that I'm want to betray everything that we are? Am I somehow betraying my people? Now, I will say this. If you are black or any other member of a minority group or if you are a member of any other minority group and you align yourself with someone that is, if you're conservative, be conservative and teach your conservative views. But don't be a correspondent for Fox News. Don't be hanging out with Rush Limbaugh, sitting on his program. Don't be kicking it with Ann Coulter and Sean Hannity talking about some I'm an American, blah, 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 blah. Don't do that. If you are critical of some aspect of society, be that critic, but don't align yourself with the likes of those individuals. With that being said, I feel like we as blacks in America do need to do things differently. I'm all about us getting an education. Not necessarily from a university, but I'm all about us going to school and getting an education. It may not be for everybody, or at least learning a trade, or at least being employed people. All this side hustling stuff, though commendable that you want to do something positive for yourself, it isn't cutting it. And I understand that many of our brothers are struggling with the legal system, whether involuntarily or whether rightly so. But whether wrongly or rightly, whether we're struggling with the legal system, I find that we really got to do better. And I began to just realize, talking to that friend of mine, he was quick to say, I'm defending my people. Well, no. I can say you're doing wrong and still show you love. And it is out of my love that I say, hey brother, don't do that. That's not good for you. Don't engage in this practice in your life. That's not good for you. And then again, I don't even have to name any names. You probably know someone in your life. Maybe they drink too much. Maybe they engage in way too much recreational drug use. And you need to tell them, hey, don't do that. And I know that we do live in a nation, or we live in a world where you can't tell anybody they're wrong. And many of us can't face criticism or blame without going on the defensive. I'm one of them. I'll be man enough, adult enough to say this, that I know I can't deal with the scrutiny of someone else. And I think that we need to work on things as black men, black women. I think there's a lot we can improve on. It's just unfortunate that we don't. Because sometimes it is harder to change. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you it's easy to magically change everything, because it's not. Because it takes breaking old habits that have had time to flourish. It takes getting over yourself. And sometimes some days I don't have that in me. But I think we as black men need to stop laying up with a bunch of women barebacking it. Let's keep it real. We need to stop laying up with different women and then wondering why she's coming after us with child support. And black women, you need to be more selective with who you choose. You can't always be like, I want me a roughneck, and then you get yourself a thug roughneck, and of course he hit it and quit it, and now you say you can't find a good man. Go fig. So that's just things we need to be careful of. And we don't need to be as promiscuous as, I'm not saying that other communities are not, but I am going to point out that we need to not have this promiscuity in our community. Statistically, we're the ones that are getting the most STDs. We have the higher cases of STDs and AIDS in our community. So be careful if you're going to do all that stuff. Please wear protection. I would say abstain totally, but if you feel you cannot abstain, wear some protection. In addition to that, I think we need to learn how to speak the King's English. If you're in America, you can't speak like you're on the streets with Pookie Ray Ray in them. We actually have to speak job interview. And too often we still want to speak street even in job interview, and that don't work. That does not work at all. That won't work. And I think we just need to stop looking for the hookup and everything. Like, let's actually buckle down and pull ourselves together. Let's not keep trying to look for the hookup all the time. I'm not saying don't accept a hookup. If you get a hookup, great. But quit looking for the hookup all the time. Sometimes you got to pay full price. And I'm not necessarily talking about monetary things. These are just things that I think we as a community really need to do personally. And sometimes we got to sacrifice the short term for the long haul, you know? Well, and one more thing, we got to stop making excuses for our behavior. Let's stop excusing ourselves all the time. Now, don't get me wrong. I still believe white privilege exists. I still believe that there are glass ceilings and glass elevators and glass escalators. I believe that stuff is true. I believe racial profiling still exists. But on our end, we need to do better on our end. So even when they come at us with what they're coming at us with, we can have ourselves together over here. And I'm sure many will hear this and blow it off or have a counter argument, and that's fine and that's good. And maybe we do need to have a discussion. But too often we're, what's the word I'm looking for? Too often we're not gonna heed, and we can't just have a good discourse on this. So that's my 2 cents on it. Thank you for tuning in. Take care.